What we will do is we will first of all start off with a very short exercise. Open your mobile phones, open your browser, log into menti.com. Menti.com. And on the top of that is my credit card CVV. You can put that. Probably some money might be deducted. But okay, I'm joking. That's just a code. There's an open-ended question. Write as much as you want. That is important. That's a part of a longer exercise. We will explain that later. Open your browser. Type in menti.com. They will ask you for a code. Use that code 23251696. After that, there will be an open-ended option. You can write as many sentences as you want. Do write it in English only because I don't understand Kannada. And later on probably you might, but write that in English only so that we can understand. So please write that as honestly as possible, as much as possible. So just write down. Am I clear? Is it working?
Yes, sir.
Menti.com. Put in your name again. Jyoti, right? No, just don't write one single word. Write paragraphs. Write paragraphs there. It's important. Otherwise, there'll be nothing to, then if I had to give you only one word, I would have given you word cloud. That's why I've given an open-ended answer. It's an open-ended long answer. Am I clear? Do you get my point? Whatever you want to learn, that I want to learn the basics of content analysis, thematic analysis, or I want to get better at questioning, this, that, or whatever. Whatever you think that is the output that is required after 3 days, or some of the takeaways that you want at the end of 3 days, please write that down in detail. Mobile पर ही लिखिए. Answer यहाँ पर दिखाई देगा. When you put up the code there, a box will open and type there on the box. Is it working? I've already got 2 answers, so probably it is working, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You will have to speak a lot more than I do because I get bored of my own voice. I want to hear your voice. Thank you so much. The third, we got 3 responses. I have been told by the organizers that everybody who is responding here will get an extra lunch coupon. So please make sure that you respond. Thank you so much. I got 8 responses. You can see all the responses later on the 12. 15, 16, wonderful. I'll share all these responses with CMDR and also with US here. So all those responses stay there. Maybe at the end we'll have some other details like that. 19 responses. Has everyone responded? 20, 21, 25. Has everyone responded? How many participants we have, Jilli sir, in total?
45.
45. So we must have at least 40 responses, isn't it? 30 responses. Wonderful. That's great. I'll come back to this thing after some time. Make sure that you have responded that, because we'll talk about coding and all in respect to your own responses, in response to So as you can understand here, this was an open-ended question that I put to you, and you have provided an open-ended answer here. To make sense of such open-ended answers, we are going to use software or tools like the Atlas.ti. First of all, we must know why qualitative data analysis. As we know, from our own work, quantitative is a lot more simpler in the sense that it's all about statistics, and it brings out output and all so very easily. That's so very easy. I myself have been a physics graduate, so I work a lot on statistics. I work on structural equation modeling, and I work on factor analysis and confirmatory factor analysis and all that. That is, I consider it to be an easier part. This is something which is a lot more required. And what I have done is I have given you 4 different handouts in your kit box. The reason is that if maybe at times I will come back to PowerPoint, but if I put everything on the screen, then the interaction becomes a lot lesser. You're just looking at the screen, you're not even looking at the person who is talking. So we will explain why we are going to talk about qualitative data analysis. What are the characteristics of qualitative data analysis? Then I will talk about content analysis. I have a very quick discussion on that. I will then talk about coding, because that is what we will do in the software. So before we get down to the software, you will come back to that. Later on, if you search, and that is just a personal thing that I am sharing. If you search Atlas.ti or Atlas.ti tutorial on your Google search, one of the top 3 results will be one of my videos, wherever you search from. I mean, so the Google ranks my videos very highly when it comes to Atlas.ti. Good for me, I feel good about it, because the algorithm gives me that kind of endorsement. You can search it. I mean, Generally sir did that this morning, even the Vice Chancellor sir, when you search it, you will get that. Anyway, that's not about personal things. Just to tell you that we've been working on this for a long time, and 75 to 80% of my video views are from outside the country. Not from. So mastering quantitative data analysis, you will search. Has anyone searched it? If you want, Atlas.ti or Atlas.ti tutorial? If you search it, huh? Third one is mine. See, so I did not know him before. Although he's from Calcutta, I just met him first time. So I have not. You can do that yourself. Are you getting it? Just to tell you, I was joking with Jirli sir, so you have invited the right person. Anyway, jokes apart. So we are going to get into the software, but before that, I think that even if we are some experienced researchers, I think we must know about these things. Do you agree with me? Yes or no, please? Yes or no? Please tell me yes or no. Yes. Loudly, everyone. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. We need this loud voice at times, because we might feel sleepy. And when everyone is shouting yes or no, you will get shaken off your sleep. So at times I would want you to, because we always think from somebody sitting there and something boring is going on and you feel sleepy. We'll make sure that you don't fall asleep. Am I clear? Yes. Wonderful. So I'll come to that, but before we start, just a very quick humorous video, nothing important, but I thought that we should start in a humorous way. So I'm just sharing a video, just treat it as an icebreaker. It's not academic. We'll probably Some of you might have seen this before. आवाज नहीं आ रही? मैं बार-बार आपको डिस्टर्ब अच्छा वो Is the sound coming? Oh, sure. At times it's too long. Yeah, I did this faster. At times it just becomes 0. When I did it in the morning, it was 80, and then it went off to 0.
अभी हो रहा है करेक्ट हुआ
ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು
ಅದೇ ಬ್ಯಾಕಪ್ ಏನೋ ಇದೆ
ಶರ್ಮು
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬ ಇದ್ದಾನ ಷಣ್ಮುಖ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಬ್ಬ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲಿ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಇದೆ ಬಂದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ
So, I'll start. Can we start? I mean, Janisa, we can. Welcome back. Now, no more commercial breaks. Just carry on. So please, this is just a starter. So don't take it as something very important. The important things are there in the paper. We'll discuss that. So the entire reporting process, when it goes down into the stages, there are so many different interpretations. When we are trying to generalize findings, then these interpretations can be a problem. But when we are trying to humanize it, or when we are trying to look at the lived experience, and that's very important, the lived experience of people, that's where the interpretation part becomes very different. The interpretation is not about generalization, but about each person's experience. And that matters. Because generally when we talk of, and that's why we are spending so much of time in talking about the qualitative thinking way. As I tell you that I come from a quantitative background. I have worked all my life on quantitative. I'm also editor-in-chief of a of a SAGE journal. If you search for Media Watch, there's a SAGE published journal. I'm the editor-in-chief of that. So we are also promoting qualitative work these days for many number of reasons. We'll explain why. So let's just take these and let's make sense of that. So the first is characteristics of qualitative research. There is a 6-page thing, so please take that. And there I've just spoken about 5 different characteristics. So what we'll do is that we'll read that. As I said, this is deliberately planned. It's much easier for me to show it on screen and then you forget or whatever. So we don't want it that way. We want all of you to have a reading there so that we can. If my English is not clear, or if you want something to be explained, please speak out. The more we interact, the easier it will be for each of us. Otherwise, if I go on speaking all by myself, it won't be very useful. As I said, we'll install the software today in the second part and we'll just have a look at that. But it's just a tool. It might do a lot of things automatically. We'll talk about ChatGPT also. I have a multimedia question. We'll talk about ChatGPT. I'll introduce you to some AI research tools also, which will be easier. But they are all tools. It must be made very, very clear. So one of the problems is that when we talk of research, we talk of variables, we talk of populations, we talk of pie charts, we talk of results, we talk of analysis and all that. This research unlearns that. So just to suggest that this is a very different way of doing research. Qualitative research is a very, very different way of doing research. For example, we have your open-ended answers, making sense of that, putting them into codes and categories and themes and trying to look at patterns or trying to look at those kind of things in a qualitative way. And that is very, very important, that this is a new kind of research where we use different kinds of equipment, where we use, so come to page 2 and you will see that the first thing that we're talking about is a naturalistic approach. So I've taken all this from existing books. In fact, in one of my handouts, I've shared all those citations also in one of those handouts, which we will discuss in a moment's time. And we'll keep on coming back to that because this is the basis of everything. So this is a real world setting. We have people from anthropology. There are two. How many of you from anthropology? Ranjan is there, and your Satish is also there. Your Jyoti is also there. You are also from anthropology. Ashok Gowda is also. Ashok Gowda? Okay. So we are all from anthropology, and we know what being in a real life setting is there. We might actually go and be in that setting. We might be in a hospital clinic observing people in real life setting and taking down notes and trying to make sense of that. So in this kind of thing, we either go through labs or hospital wards, or we could be amongst farmers, or we could be amongst opinion leaders there and listening to their details and trying to make sense of it. Why? Because we are, and if you go to the third page, you'll find a very important one. And third page, the first line. Researchers, does it make sense? What I'm saying, does it make sense? If it doesn't, please raise your hand and do ask me. Researchers are concerned with context. Context is important. Ask me, 2 days ago I was in Delhi, I could hardly breathe there. Inside the room, my eyes were burning, the pollution is so bad. And I was just telling people here, and this is like heaven actually. You can actually, breathe the grasses here. There's such a pleasant atmosphere. This context is very different. If I were to talk a qualitative approach there it would be how people, use masks and how people survive in that toxic weather, how they're, working or the kind of work they do or don't do that. And if I am talking here, and if I talk of masks and toxic weather and all, people will think I'm a stupid person. What mask? Nothing like that. So the context matters. Where actually, people are saying that matters. And context need not only be environmental context, it could be socio-economic, it could be many other things. I had a Nigerian friend who was here in 2012 and we were having a conference, and we were in Uttar Pradesh someplace. He says that, are elections happening here? I said, yes. He said, in my place if there were elections, there would be bullet fires everywhere. So the context is very different. For them, elections would be very different. I was during Eid time in Atlanta, USA. Nobody, even the Muslim friends, I could not even understand there is Eid going on there. In Calcutta, the Eid time, every place would be, very, very different. So the context is important. And that's why personalization is important. That's why your interpretation matters. Nothing is right, nothing is wrong. I will explain that in a moment's time. But it's the interpretation that matters. That's why we talk of codes and themes and this and that. So we understand how these actions, words or gestures gain significance within their specific settings. If you just see the third page, the third line, they aim to understand how actions, words or gestures gain significance within their specific settings. Am I clear about that? Yes or no, please? Yes. Louder, please? Yes. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I must know that you people are awake. And So separating interpretation from what actually happens is wrong. So this is very, very important. The second point, and that again is very, very important. Here we are dealing with descriptive data. I mean, if I had taken numbers there, it would have been very easy for me to do a chi-square test just like that. But descriptive data, do you remember you were giving one word answer? I said, no, give me descriptive data. Because descriptive data has to be analyzed here because the intention is different. The reason why we are doing this research is very different. And you will see all this thing will be done using a tool. Earlier, all this was done using manual coding. Now we have a software. This is not the only software, but this is one of the most important, the best one. QSR and Vivo and then Atlas.ti and DUs, there's only. There are a lot of free tools available. You can do that on Excel also. The software is just a tool to help you. You can do this with ChatGPT also. We'll show you how. The idea is they are tools. They are not masters. We have to use them, not them using us. Otherwise, our work will not stand out. And believe me, that's very important. You've all heard of Abhijit Vinayak Banerjee. Many of you are from economics. Even if you are not, you would have heard of him. He studied in Jadavpur University. He studied in Delhi School of Economics, and then he went abroad. And he said that only when I went abroad, I realized what academic hard work means. Imagine someone who's studied in the best of the universities in India. He was studying in Jadavpur University, doing hard work. Delhi School of Economics doing hard work. But the actual hard work happens when we go there. One reason why our research does not stand out is we are not doing that with sufficient rigor. That's very important. For us, it's just a tool. We need API, we need to tell people, I publish so that I get a job and live happily ever after. But if the idea is to excel, then a lot of hard work is required. And for that, we have to start right at the basics. And I must salute all the senior professors who are sitting there. You've been there for ages, much before even I started teaching. I've been teaching for 22 years. Before that, 3 years I was in a newspaper called The Asian Age. I worked with M.J. Akbar. You might have heard of M.J. Akbar, the famous journalist. But so this is important that we keep learning every day. So we are dealing with descriptive data. What is descriptive data? I have put that on board. And thank you, Generally sir, for being so swift. I was just sitting at the airport and typing it out and sending it, and he was getting it ready. So that is how this becomes so very useful. Now we can discuss with that. So I sent him all that from while sitting at Bangalore airport. It was important that we made this kind of a thing, so we could relate at that level. Interview transcripts, field notes, photographs and videos. In fact, Atlas.ti began using for even coding photographs and videos and audio transcripts and all that. We will not go to that level, but I'll show you how it is done, so that if you're coding your own work, you can do that. Personal documents and memos. In fact, I have downloaded one NEP 2020 document, and we'll use that for coding and all that. I'll share it with you. It is there on this thing. So tomorrow when we start coding, one of the first documents is this, and I'm sure Generally sir has asked you to bring your own data, and we can look at that as well. So let's official record. So it could be any agriculture policy or any kind of thing. How to get to make sense of it, how to interpret it. So this is about descriptive data. This is not about numeric data. In fact, there are numeric things that we can do with qualitative data analysis also, but that would be just a small part of it. Of course, there is something known as quantitative content analysis, where we are looking at correlations and we are looking at covariances. But here we analyze data in all its richness, staying close to the original form. And I keep saying that, and for the next video I will play, I will emphasize that. Quantitative data is about numbers, this is about words of text. We are trying to transcribe the text and make sense of what people are doing. Because it's important to understand this in all its richness, in all its context. in all its natural setting, where I am just the prism through which the result is going on. So this is not about a 500 sample. This could be about just 24 people. This could be about just 2 focus groups. And it's a done thing. I mean, you search. I will show you how to search for papers also. There are tools like connected papers where we'll discuss on the 3rd day, where you can search for. In fact, I brought some papers where Atlas-ti has been used to. I can share that on. Maybe Jilly sir will form a WhatsApp group. We can share that there as well. Come to the 4th page now. Attention to detail is crucial. And another very important point, nothing is trivial there. Nothing is trivial. That's very important. Every detail could provide insights into the phenomenon. That's why we take copious notes. We take out lots and lots of notes. Is my English clear to everyone?
Yes. Yes.
Do tell me if I have a diction. A lot of Americans, they say that you're very strong Indian accent. I said, that's fine, I should. Why should I speak like an American? So I don't think that, or you might say that he's a small Bengali accent. So if it is there, just tell me and I'll try and improve on it. So nothing is trivial. Emphasis is on the process. And that's very important. Just see the 3rd point. Emphasis on the process. 3 points. How people negotiate meaning, what it means to them. We are telling something, what it means to you. And that's very important. Now, probably that's very important. That's why certain election campaigns they work very well, certain don't. Because in the end, what people make sense of that. I will talk about big things, democracy, secularism, fascism, whateverism. But what it means to people, that's very important. And that's why modulating it to the people is very important. Every people will interpret it differently. Everyone has a different personality. Everyone has a different biochemical reaction to something. We study a lot about that. Anyone of you from a psychology background or any of you working on psychology? Nobody? Okay, so at times when we talk about people, we have to talk in terms of that also. They talk of 5 different personality types. Do you know about that?
Big 5.
Yeah, big 5. Wonderful. Ocean, what's that?
Openness, conscientiousness,
Consciousness,
extraversion,
agreeableness,
and neuroticism.
neuroticism. Wonderful.
I'm working on it.
Oh, you are? What's your area?
Sports psychology में.
Oh, you're doing that. Wonderful. So that's wonderful. There are different other personality traits also, but this is important. If you praise a person, listen to me carefully, that's important, that's why context is important. If you praise a person, all the happy hormones that are released in your body, oxytocin, dopamine, it stays in the body for 45 minutes. If you criticize somebody, all the negative hormones, serotonin or whatever, are released in the body, stay there for 26 hours. So if you think that one praise is one criticism, no. That is how this is so very important. There is another thing, and you will study all that, and this must come during our discussion because we are a highly elite group here. How many of you are master students here? MA students? You are MA students? Okay, if you think that something becomes, I'll try and make it as simple as possible because as teachers our job is to make it. Does it make sense to whatever I'm talking to you, or it makes no sense? Yes or no? Tell me. It does? Only to you, not to the other 3? Please speak out. Yes or no? And others, you are saying. Other 3, does it make sense? Yes or no? Okay, feel free to tell me. Right. There is something known as amygdala, A-M-Y-G-D-A-L-A. Amygdala at the back of our brain. It prepares us for danger. And that's why am I telling you this is again important. If you think that something might endanger your reputation, your identity or whatever, or it is going against the political party you are supporting, or it is going against the film star you are supporting, your reaction will be different. That is a danger sign. You are in danger sign. We either fight, you are wrong, you don't know anything, or you'll fly, or you'll just freeze. So how people interact, how people react is very, very important. That again, so why I'm saying all this is that there are different contexts, and it's not always just environmental, socio, political, economy. It could be psychology. It could be many, many other things. If you talk to us, we are not energetic in the morning. If you talk to us, and that happens. Do you get FM radio here? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Everyone gets FM radio. Early morning, if you hear the DJ, very energetic. You hear the DJ early morning, very energetic. Here I'm playing this song for you. This is good, and all that is sounding not energetic. Come to the afternoon, it's talking long, it's talking soft. Even the songs are softer. Again in the evening, again energetic. People are going back home, they are going in the second part of the day, etc., etc. So these interpretations are very, very important, and that no data can do justice. You might have heard of something known as NCRB data, National Crime Research Bureau, right? All of you have heard NCRB? Young students, NCRB, Suna? NCRB? Every crime that is done is recorded on a state level and district level, so on and so forth. That unfortunate case, the Nirbhaya case, if it was taken as a piece of statistic, it would have been just reported as a murder. Why? Listen to me carefully. Very important. Because the NCRB or the SCRB or any data, it is recorded for the maximum crime, not for the others. If the maximum crime is murder, they will not record the other crimes there. What I am saying is that statistics is useful, is wonderfully useful, but it might hide certain things. If we do not get into the details, we might not know about the brutality, we might not know about many other things. Agree, yes or no? Yes. If it is just a piece of statistics, it is hiding a lot of details which is there. So those details are important for policy, for research, and for many other things. So I'm trying to sell qualitative data analysis to you, although I tell you that I come from the other side. So I myself am being convinced of these things. Very important. Another example, very quickly. So we are sitting here, some students, some professors, some contracting persons, some senior persons, whatever. Let's imagine that the average income per month of the group is 50,000 rupees. Of course, Madam, Jilly sir and all, they earn in lakhs, I'm not going to that. But the average income is 50,000 rupees. Right? Average income is 50,000 rupees. For some reason, Akash Ambani has come to Dharwad and he's heard that there is a program going on. He says, let's see what happens here. He comes here and sits in one of the benches here. You know Akash Ambani, right? Everyone knows Akash Ambani. That 1 hour Akash Ambani is sitting here, the average income of each person here will be 10,000 crores. For that 1 hour, if all of us, this average income is 10,000 crores. Nothing has come to my pocket. But if they are giving a statistical reason to that, they will say that such a highly rich group, everybody's average income is 10,000 crores. I am as poor as I was. Jimmy is as rich as he was. Nothing has changed. But average hides a lot of things. So these averages, they might not give us the true picture. That is why in statistics we often go for median. We don't go for the mean. Because the average will hide a lot of things. Do you agree with me, yes or no? Yes. So that is why the average will not be a very good figure here. I will not get into other details here, but just to tell you that numbers can at times hide these things there. And for that, unless I have a very detailed qualitative data analysis approach, all these things will be lost. So that is why we are talking about how people negotiate meaning, how ideas become accepted as common sense. In fact, there are a lot of theories there. When is the next session, sir?
1:30.
1:30. So we'll have lots of food for thought before we go into lunch, and then we'll come back and then more food for that, and then we'll install the software today and have a look at the software also. But before that, we'll have to make sense of a lot of these things. I'm sure you will understand this is important, right? If I straight away jump into the software, it will not make a lot of sense. So that's why the first day we put a lot of stress on this. So how ideas become common sense? A lot of ideas are not common sense. What is the social construction of technology? Everybody knows that. Technology has its impact. How people make use of that. I was told Manipur, the situation is very bad. In fact, I was supposed to be in Manipur immediately after that. We had to post just a workshop on the same thing. The same thing was to be repeated there. But the situation is not good there. A lot of those youngsters, they learn Korean. And they communicate to each other on SMS through the Korean language. So if a young boy is sending a romantic message to a young girl on SMS in Korean language, their parents will not be able to understand. So they are making use of that technology for something very, very personal. That will not be recorded in any statistical. Please believe me, I am not saying that statistical is not required. In fact, that is the ruling party. It is always there. This is an additional thing that we should know, and this is required, especially in the age of AI, where a lot of those things will be done automatically, a lot of those jobs will be taken up by them. It's for us to look at those greater details, definitions, and all those things. That's why this is so very important. And this is, you will realize that it's, if you can do it correctly, you can publish quickly, it makes sense, talk quickly, and as the Vice Chancellor himself said, that is being done at so many levels. We require these things there, and that is why it's been very thoughtfully, arranged by HL research. We've been having discussions on that for at least 3 months. Is it 3 months or more? Yes. So we've been talking about that for a long time, and this is how we ended up. What is the difference between deductive analysis and inductive analysis? Anyone? What is deductive research and inductive research? Anyone? PhD scholars? MA students? Anyone? What is? Yeah, please.
Deductive go from generalization to specific. So inductive is from specific statement to generalized.
Guru का नाम रोशन कर दिया. Very good. Does anyone understand Hindi here? No? Some of you do. I should not speak too much Hindi. She's from Tripura, that's right. So yeah, if you start from a theory, you know there's a theory in your field, whether it's agenda setting or framing or whatever. We are applying that theory to a specific area. That is a deductive approach. The theory already exists. The theory is there. We are trying to replicate that in our work. Agree with that? The deductive approach, we are deducing. A theory is already existing. We are using that theory in our work. It could be in sports psychology, it could be in anthropology, it could be in agricultural sciences, it could be diffusion of innovation, it could be... A lot of you talk on diffusion of innovation, right? People from extension education. How many from extension? Anyone? Many of you from them, yeah. So you use the diffusion of innovation, and you might use that diffusion of innovation to see whether it is working or not working. When we start with that approach, it is known as a deductive analysis, or it is a deductive approach. In inductive approach, we start from the ground, that's the grounded theory, and we start to look at whether we can bring out a theoretical approach or not. Here you are trying to devise a theory. Agree? Yes or no, please? Yes? Yes. Please tell me yes or no. Yes. You have every right to disagree and do ask questions and do tell me whether it is not. So deductive Theory exists, you are just trying to make use of that theory. Inductive,
Theory of analysis.
out of the data, I'm trying to get a theory because there is no theory that exists. So a lot of the qualitative work that we are doing, although there will be deductive approaches, I will show you, because some of those codes might already exist. So we want to use that existing code there. So in the inductive analysis, they analyze the data inductively, building theories from the ground up. I tried to make it as simple as possible. Can you see that number 4 point? So it builds. So they don't start with preconceived hypotheses, but let the theories emerge from the data. From the response you just provided me, we could say that okay, people are looking at more skills, or they are looking at more concepts, or people want to talk about their own personal things or their personal projects. So we can get in some theoretical insight from the data that you just provided me. We can work on that also. We can try and code that also to talk about how theories emerge from the ground. And that's very important, as I said, because the richness, the description, the groundedness. There is a theory known as the grounded theory, and once that is set up, I will share all the videos with you also, so that you can make sense of all that. Because once you make sense of all that, it will help a lot. I will talk about research hypothesis tomorrow, or sorry, the research philosophy tomorrow as well, so that we are totally in control of what we say. So that when you face Viva or you face any questions, you're very clear. Because once you're clear with your own ideas, it's very nice. We do a lot of PhD Vivas. There are a lot of professors here, a lot of us we do all the time. Just by listening to a scholar for 2 or 3 minutes, we can understand, whether he or she has, done the homework properly or not. And if you're very good with your methods, if you know your methods, the what and the why and the wherefore of your methods, then things are a lot easier. Focus is on the meaning, understanding the meanings people attach to. I'm talking about point number 5. Understanding the meanings people attach to their experiences is essential to qualitative research. What meaning people attach to them? So no value judgment. What they do, I am value neutral. I am just trying to find out what it means to the people. And that's very, very different. In Mongolia, for example, if you put your hand on the head of a female, that's not regarded as a good thing. Here, if you put your hands on the head of any female young girl, people will think that you're blessing her. In Mongolia, they might hate you. I don't know this. So a lot of these things are contextual. It means a lot of those things to them. There are 2 people from Bengalia. The word we use for hair is chul in Bengali. We can't use the word that we use in Hindi. That would mean a very bad abuse. Right? So what meaning people attach to them? That's very, very important. And as researchers, we have to probe further and further what it means to them. Everybody might not be as articulate. And that's a problem. We assume, and that's known as the knowledge curse, we assume that everybody has the same knowledge as we do. That's why a lot of those questions, there are those dissonances. That's why there are those differences. So just to repeat these 5 points, which is there. The first part is that qualitative research is naturalistic. We are studying people in their natural world settings. The second is that the data is descriptive. I mean, it could be field notes, it could be answers, it could be open-ended answers, it could be just I record it on a video or whatever and I transcribe it. So it's very descriptive in nature. The data is words, text. The third is emphasis on the process. How is important. How people give meaning. How they come to a certain conclusion. What is common sense for them? What is not common sense for them? Inductive analysis. They analyze their data inductively most often. Although there are no hard and fast rules there, as I said, and even qualitatively will adopt mixed methods often. We will go for triangulation often. I'm sure you have heard of triangulation. Any word that I speak, if you want me to expound on that, please ask me. I'm not just making, throwing these words just like that. It makes some meaning. And as I said that I have 175 videos on my channel, so there's one on triangulation also. If you want, I can share those links. And that's very important that we have to go deep into these meanings. And the fifth point is that there's a focus on the meaning of it. So we made sense of the first part of it. The second part will come very soon. But before that, I'll just play a video on qualitative data analysis, because just me speaking might get very, very boring. So far so good. Is it clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Makes sense?
Yes.
Because we'll come to coding and all that, then it will be easier. Because the software will do something. It will create codes and all that. So we'll have to know why we are doing coding and what it is required for now. So I'm giving you a background of what qualitative research is all about. Then there are 10 frequently asked questions about that. I'll go to that immediately after that. But before that, I just play out a YouTube video on qualitative research. So 8 or 10 minute video, just have a look at that. I mean, it's just a repetition of what I've just told you just now. So you're done again, so we just continue with that?
Yes, continue.
Yeah, and when we get that, we'll come back to that. So let's just take the second part now. 10 common questions about qualitative research. In fact, that's my website, profust.com, and I've started, putting out text data there as well. If you see USP Classroom, there is a lot of text data also. I started with content analysis. I'll go back home and I'll add more onto that. So please, you can keep coming back. So the website is also for researchers and for scholars and all that. And I've made it a point not to have any advertisements there. So it has no profit, nothing. Since I work on the website myself, I can manage the hosting and domain and all that. So that's one way of keeping in touch with scholars from different parts of the country. So that's why I put that out on the website. I repeat, there is no advertisement on the website. It's because it disturbs the experience. When you open a website and all those big ads come up, you don't feel like watching that website. So I put that absolutely. You can search that website. If you think that I need to add something to that, do tell me in the next 3 days. I'll go back home and I will do that. So the first question is, are qualitative findings generalizable? Now we know what generalizability means. I'm sure you've heard about generalizable, right or wrong? We do an opinion poll and we say that A party will win 50 seats, C party will win 40 seats or whatever, and so on and so forth. We do survey, and based on the survey we can say that this applies to the entire population or whatever. We generalize. We can extrapolate. Agree, yes or no?
Yes.
That from the survey result, if I just do a survey and if it is properly randomized, then I can extrapolate it to mean it to the entire population. That is something that is done. So generalizable should not always be the goal for qualitative researchers. What a farmer here in Dharwad feels might not apply to a farmer in Haryana or Punjab or Bengal for that matter. These are not generalizable, and we are looking for context-specific insights. So when we are studying a particular classroom, so you can just you see this thing. Then you can take note of this. I'm talking from this. I'm trying to explain that. As I said, instead of the PowerPoint, we are having this thing in front of us so that we can have a proper discussion. आ गया? चलेगा? Okay. इंटरनेट नहीं आ रहा? आवाज नहीं आ रही?
आ रहे सर।
नहीं और चाहिए ना? अच्छा जी पढ़ा। Qualitative research seeks people's points of view. Issues are often embedded which emerge from the people rather than being brought by researchers. Qualitative research, there is emic, there is ethic, so this is what people are saying. So this is emic research. Thus, in simplistic terms, categorizes data using words, while quantitative research, as we know, uses numbers. Qualitative research includes ethnography, grounded theory, phenomenology, case study, and content analysis. It also includes genres including narrative inquiry, ethnodrama, autoethnography, and duoethnography. We can also go for something known as thematic analysis. Thematic analysis is a very, because these are accepted terms. Whatever social science field you belong to, if you're doing things which are already there in the field, it helps. So when we're working on these kind of fields, in fact, I will have a discussion on content analysis in a detailed way, because that's what we are going to do through Atlas.ti. So this is about, or ethnography, as I said, taking notes, making sense. Quantitative research aims for explanation, while qualitative research's focus is on understanding. In qualitative research, there is a personal role for the researcher, while in quantitative, the role of the researcher is an impersonal one. So here the researcher's role is important, because whatever explanations you are giving, in quantitative research your role is not there. Your role is instrumental. You get the data or you analyze the data or whatever, but your personality does not matter. Your explanations don't matter. So that's very, very important. It's there on the YouTube. You can watch it at any point of time. And I'll share all these links on the group, the WhatsApp group. Qualitative researchers seek to understand lived experiences and context. They also try to understand the meanings associated with these experiences, usually from the perspective of participants. Qualitative research includes relevantly detailed descriptions and particularized interpretations of people and the social. So, qualitative research includes relevantly detailed descriptions and particular. So does it make sense? We've just discussed all that. Yes or no, please? Yes. So it's about what meaning people give to certain things, their perspective and their detailed descriptions. That's what matters here. Interpretations of people and the social.
I have 12 emails, 30 messages, and a proposal due by 10. How am I already underwater?
I'm in the same boat.
I'm in an actual boat.
I thought.
Grounded theory involves collecting data in order to develop new theories. Ethnography involves immersing yourself in a group or organization to understand its culture. Narrative research involves interpreting stories to understand how people make sense of their experiences and perceptions. That's a very important research. Everybody tells about their experiences in form of a story. In fact, storytelling can be a very important teaching tool. There's a university called Karnavati University in Ahmedabad, and I did a faculty development program for them for 2 days, just how to use storytelling. Because see, storytelling is ingrained in us. We have the television has just replaced the storyteller. all the moral lessons that we've been taught, all the explanations that you provide about yourself, you are making sense of it as a story. So people tell stories about themselves, people tell stories about ideas and so on and so forth. So this analysis, the narrative analysis approach, that also there's a separate video for all these things on the same channel. I'm not trying to promote the channel or whatever. This is just a communication, because I might not be able to talk all about that. That's why I did all the hard work of. There's hardly any money we get from that. So this is not about the money. This is just a platform where we can exchange that. And again, in a personal note, I'll be doing a session with. There's a university called Rani Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalaya, Tirupati. You heard about that? Tirupati, right? So for their faculty members, I'm doing a 3-day program on how to make these YouTube videos. Just to tell you, this is a very important flipped classroom approach these days. I give a lot of these videos to people, watch it at home, come into the classroom where we're going to have more discussions, more questions, more interaction. So it's no longer described in the classroom. The matter is at home, so it's just different. Earlier we used to give them lessons and then homework at home. Now, lessons at home, whatever you do at homework is here, is what you're doing in the classroom. So that's what we do. So that's why narrative research is very important. So from all those long stories, we'll have to cut down into codes and this and that, and that's what the thing is. In today's post-lunch session, I'll do a session on how to do content analysis, and then we'll go to Atlas.ti software, right? Before that, we are agreeing that. Agree, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And if you think that you got tired or anything, just let me know, because it's you who matters. I don't get tired because for us it's so closer to our heart that we don't get tired hours after hours. That's why this is. So grounded theory, just like the inductive approach we spoke of, they take data and all that. In fact, Atlas.ti is totally designed in the grounded theory approach. Memo writing and all, I'll explain what it means. Ethnography, we have a lot of ethnographers right here. And Satish and Ranjan and who else? Jyoti. There are people here as well. Anthropology, what's the name? Shahana and Santosh. I remember names. Right. So in our class it's very difficult for people to give proxy because I wouldn't know in mind. And it's also very difficult to get away with anything because I would remember that name. Okay, not that but if you know that the person knows you. You've seen 3 Idiots? All of you seen that? तुम मुझे जानते हो? You know where I come from? If you don't know, you can do anything. So that's why when we are at places where nobody knows us, we can do anything. You can jump on the streets, you can dance on the streets or whatever. Most of the time, somebody is watching. So that is that again is psychology. Yes, what psychology, sir? Hawthorne theory. Hawthorne effect, what is it? I'm just asking, just because we want to hear you, not that I'm trying to find out. Hawthorne effect? Follow Priyanka. Manna hai bolo.
So like the impact of working situation in different.
Okay, yes, it's very good. Hawthorne effect. All of you many of you are teachers, you invigilate examinations or whatever, you do? Yes or no, teachers? Yes. That's the most boring part of our job, we have to do that. I mean, that's a duty you cannot skip, you are forced to do that. When you're watching and you're walking around, somebody is writing, and if he sees that you're watching his or her, idea changes, he stops writing. The idea, or when you notice that somebody is watching me, then my reaction changes. And that's why ethnography is a very subtle process. Because the moment you go and tell people that I'm recording or I'm the idea will change. That's why a lot of the survey work is also not very good. Why? Because, listen to me very carefully, all those self-reports, they will always give the most socially desirable answer. If I as a student, if I as a teacher go to ask my students, do you smoke? Nobody will tell me. Even if they are smoking 30 cigarettes a day, they will say, no, sir, I don't. Because it's not socially desirable to tell. Similarly, if we know that people are watching us or they're going to quote us, their reactions will change. That effect is known as the Hawthorne effect. Hawthorne. Hawthorne effect. If you want to know more, you can ask Shankar from BHU. Yes? Very good. Should be perfect. So that's very important. That's why all these things, we have to take care of. And that's what we mean when we say that when these Westerners, they do that, they're very, very careful to avoid all these things. That's why they will do the pilot studies, the pre-test studies, and this and that, and make it better and better. That's why the research stands out, and that's what we should strive for. Unless our research stands out, nobody is going to take note. We'll just be one in a crowd. So when we do these research, all these things have to be taken care of. And qualitative research has these advantages. Phenomenological research involves investigating phenomena through people's lived experiences. Action research links theory and practice in several cycles to drive innovative changes. So this is just the 5 types, the first 3 and this 2. Phenomenology, you will study about that as well. And action research again is different. So all these qualitative research, there is an analysis about the codes, the categories, the themes, and then how it gets into the report writing and all. That is all where Atlas.ti and other related software will be used. Does it make sense? Qualitative research, it's very, very different from the survey research you've been doing. And all these are regarded as very accepted, very real and very impactful research. Because these descriptive ideas is more useful for research output. In grounded theory, the hypotheses being tested are not drawn from existing theories. They are inductively generated from the data and then tested and modified through additional data collection and analysis in a process of constant comparative analysis. This is grounded theory. I'm sure you know about grounded theory. I have a longer video on all that also. And if you have questions, please write it down. You do ask me at the end of it. I'll come to triangulation most definitely. But if I forget, do remind me. I'm sure you understand the inductive part. Yes or no?
Yes.
The theory does not exist. I am creating the theory. Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Wonderful. I mean, you need lunch very quickly, is it? All of you. Qualitative research is interpretive. It keys on the meanings of human affairs seen from different views. Its researchers are comfortable with multiple meanings. They respect intuition. Qualitative research acknowledges that findings and reports are researcher-subject interactions. Right? Even reports, policy documents, all those things, they are texts that have to be analyzed. They can have interpretative things. They can have multiple meanings. And that is accepted. What is meaningful for Priyanka might not be meaningful for Shahana, might not be meaningful for Nambi. Where is Nambi? There? Tirumalai Nambi? Got the name correct? Very good. So that's why this interpretation, multiple meanings, and that reports, yeah, researcher-subject interactions. If somebody else were doing it, it would be different. You can't say that I got this result, why did you get that result? No. That is for quantitative research. In qualitative research, nothing like that. It's all very plain and simple. So, qualitative research is experiential. It is empirical. It is field oriented. It emphasizes observations by participants. It strives to be naturalistic, to neither intervene nor arrange in order to get data. It is in tune with the view that reality is a human construct. Human construction. And that's where philosophies will matter, and we'll discuss that. In basic sciences, we assume that there is a reality out there, and we just have the right tools, we can measure it. There is a credibility scale out there, we can measure it. There is a satisfaction scale out there, we can measure it. There is a believability scale out there, we can measure it. It's a realist approach, it is a natural science approach. Do you agree with me? Just like you can measure force, or you can measure impact, or you can measure all that. That's a realist approach. The interpretive approach, the hermeneutic approach is different. It says that everything is what is the human is constructing. You might have described the technology for a particular purpose, how it matters to this individual. The Aadhaar card might mean so many things to so many people. It means a different to health worker. I was working with UNICEF for a while, and it helped us discover teenage pregnancies, which is otherwise very difficult to get. Nobody would say they would. I mean, the worst state when it comes to child marriage is Bengal. You might not know that. You might think that it's some other state, but it's Bengal. The National Family Health Survey data indicates that. So that is one data. But to make sense of all that, you go to the affected districts. There is a district called Murshidabad where it is used. Then you talk to people. You get their versions, you get their views without being interventionist. When you do experimental research, you are creating the stimulus. You are just an observer. Although in focus group discussions or in detailed interviews, at times we might need to guide the subject to a particular direction, but our intervention is very less. As you can see, that it strives to be naturalistic. Agree with this part? I mean, I'm spending a lot of time trying to emphasize that this is a different research, and this is a different tool that we're talking about. It will not talk. It might talk about occurrences correlation, but that's it. Numbers are not that important here. The words, the concepts, the ideas are all important. So it is in tune with the view that reality is a human construction. We are constructing reality. We are. I mean, what is reality for me might not be reality for Ashok Gowda sir, right? Might not be for Santosh. Who's Santosh then? Santosh is here? Oh, you're hiding. You're sleeping? I'm just joking, brother. Don't do that. It gets very serious. At times, you have to make sure that don't use too much of our cognitive. Qualitative research is situational. It is oriented to objects and activities, each in a unique set of contexts. It makes the point that each place and time has uniqueness that works against generalization. It is holistic more than elementalistic, not reductively analytic. Its designs seldom emphasize direct comparisons. Its contexts are described in detail. Oh, this is very loaded, so you might pause that later as well. I don't want to get into repeating the same thing again and again. But this is situational, this is contextual, this is detailed, right? And this is more descriptive. And that's where, so what we do is we try and find out codes. Where do we get codes from? I'll discuss in the second part. And what we do in content analysis is we are trying to code, we are trying to look for themes, we are trying to look at categories. And then we are trying to write a report about it. So that when I'm writing about those things, I provide those details in the report. So it's not written as a statistical report, it's written with the help of what people have said. It helps.
Narratives.
narratives. And also in terms of, just what they, so it could, even if it's a content analysis, it would be what has come out in the text. So for us, data means textual data. Textual data could be from videos, could be from audios, could be from interviews, could be from focus group, could be from many other things. We are trying to make sense of that huge amount of data. A lot of it ChatGPT already does, and we will discuss ChatGPT also in one of those sessions. But making sense in terms of our research questions. At the end of the day, we are using tools, and we have decided that the best approach will be a qualitative approach. I want to find out that why people are not adopting processes where they have to use less water. I have the statistical thing that it shows me that people are not using, but why they are not adopting it? For that I need a detailed description for them, and from that detailed description I'll have to look at themes, because the report has to make sense. When I'm creating knowledge, that knowledge has to be arranged in a manner in which it makes sense. Why do we research? So that we add to the knowledge in the field. Who are we addressing? We are addressing our peers. We are addressing our students. We are addressing policymakers. We are addressing the common people. We are addressing the opinion makers. That's what the research should do. Nobody is talking about the research. You have done nothing. And for that, we have these tools. So we have certain research questions in mind. I'll get into all that details. So just to tell you, just to repeat again and again, that's why we're doing content analysis. That's why we're doing qualitative analysis. Because we're dealing with descriptive data. We will do coding and all, and that's why we will come to the second part of it. That there are modes of thinking. That I'll start just now, and then what are the 8 different ways in which you can do coding. Because coding is all we do in content analysis. A lot of it is automatic. We'll show you how to do that automatically as well. But basically we are doing coding there. Am I clear?
Yes,
So this is just a tool. This is just a philosophy. This is a way of looking at research differently. And we are looking at into coding and all that. So I'll come to that in a moment's time. So that when we start this software, we are ready. Qualitative research is empathic, working to understand individual perceptions. It seeks uniqueness more than commonality. It honors diversity. It seeks people's points of view, frames of reference, value commitments. Often issues are emic, emerging from the people, rather than ethic, being brought by researchers. Right? Qualitative researchers have to make strategic choices. They may aim at knowledge production or toward assisting practice or policy development. Qualitative research may represent typical cases or work towards maximizing understanding of unique cases. It may work towards generalization or lead to particularization. So that's very important. Generally, as I said, the idea is not to generalize. So if my research question is about specific cases, about why people are not doing certain things, then I might use unique cases. Then I do not take a typical. You understand the difference between unique and typical? Tell me, yes or no? Typical means somebody who is a representative of that population. Unique means he or she is not representative. But depending on my research questions, I might make it either of the two. Yes or no? Yes. MS students? Feeling sleepy? Louder please. Okay. Most qualitative data are recorded as transcripts and field notes or video. They are